Greetings, comrades. In this video I'll show you how to install a center console for an ex-police vehicle. This is a 2013 Charger, and my center part looked like this when I got the car, with a 24-pin connector coming from the front, USB, and two 12-pin connectors from the back. I got this center console from a salvage yard. It's from a stock 2014 Charger, actually, I think. And a good website to use is carpart.com. It's a database of all the salvage yards, and I got this one for about 80 bucks. I rewired everything. So inside my armrest, there's a 12 volt that's active. There used to be a USB and auxiliary in here. I removed that and installed an extra 12 volt and USB in its place. Instead, this plug that goes here usually, it's now connected to this wireless button. What this does is I turn on my Bluetooth on the car, on the phone, and this connects my phone to the car, so I can use it to listen to the music or to receive phone calls and use it as hands-free. Very convenient, very nice to use. I also wired this port and one at the back here. This also has power. The vents, they're useless. They don't serve any purpose. There are also lights for the cup holders, and there's one little light up on top here. I did not wire that. You can if you want. It's very straightforward. I'm only gonna show you the wiring, how to remove or install this center console. There's a good video on YouTube by Chargero, and I'll provide link in the description. But he doesn't talk about how to wire things in case you don't have the connectors. So in the following videos I'll show you how to connect all the wires to make this work. In order to do that, you'll need to know how to solder things, and I'll also provide video that I used to learn how to solder. One tip is don't use soldering iron, use soldering gun. It's definitely much better. And disconnect your car battery before you start soldering any hot wires. Alright, so I ended up connecting the 4 wires, cutting up this big jack in the original console, getting the brown, green, brown, blue, brown, and white wires, and connecting them to the wires coming out. I had a big jack, just like this one. I had to cut it up, and I have 3 extra wires from it, but other wires that were in there, there were brown blue, brown green, brown, and brown white. So I assume the brown white is the same thing as the white one in here. And indeed it did work, so now my auxiliary is working, music is playing. So that's how it goes. Now I'll just need to I connected it to the big plug, but just to test it, now I'll cut it up, and I'll actually get this wire right here. I'll cut it over here, and then I'll solder the wires from here and here, and actually create this plug, 4-jack plug in the car. Now the wires are all nice and soldered together, and I have this 4-pin connection that can connect directly into the center console from the regular Dodge Charger. I'll just tape it together so it's a little bit more neat. But there we go, those 3 wires, I don't know what they are. Now, this 12-pin connector that you may have had in here, the black dark wires, they're useless. They're called bypass. I have no idea what they're for. But all the white and pink, all those bright wires, those are hot wires. They're fused, and you can use those for your 12V. I burned those 2 fuses out as I was testing them, but I still have 4 that are still good, so those 4 I'll use for my 12V volts. And so I tapped into the wires here. It's going to be the pink and purple-ish wires. There's 6 of them, and the white ones as well. The white ones I fucked up. But anyhow, I have 4 left over, but that's all I need, which is excellent. Here's how the back of the 12V looks like. Unlike regular 12Vs, it has 3 wires. I have no idea what the third wire is for. I only wired 2, and it works. So the black one is your negative, pink one is your hot. The orange one, I have no idea what it does. I played around with it. I can't figure it out. It does something, but without it, there's not much loss. It still works. So hot wires, wiring to those coming out. What I did for the grounding is I used one of the bolts. I'm still in the process of soldering here. Used one of those bolts that were as a harness, put a lock nut on it, and then soldered it all together. You have to make sure that the paint is off, that it's free of the paint, this bolt, which is kind of a painful thing to do. There's 2 more over here, or alternatively you can ground it to those brackets. You can see that's where police had it grounded right there. I couldn't take those bolts out, unfortunately, otherwise I would have grounded it in there, but the heads are not good anymore. And I'm gonna have one 12-volt here. Then I'm gonna have a 12-volt that's coming into the regular inside the glove compartment, not the glove compartment, the armrest. One 12-volt that's gonna go to the back for the passengers. And then what I also did is for this USB and auxiliary, so I'm not gonna have this inside my armrest. Instead, I've taken it out. It's going to be somewhere here, and it's going to be connected to this. Oh god, oh, it's so messy here now. Basically, it's a Bluetooth button. It's somewhere. It's a Bluetooth button that plugs into USB, and it plugs into the auxiliary, and it gives you a hands-free in your car, and you can connect your phone with Bluetooth and play it through the stereo. How to connect your auxiliary I explained in previously. And the reason I did that with USB is I don't really need this USB. It doesn't seem to work. It just says USB error when I connect my phone or anything really to it, so I can't figure out what the USB is for. So now in that place where the USB and auxiliary used to go, I just got this in the store. That's an extra USB port and another 12V. So I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 12Vs and a 1 USB, which is a bit of an overkill, but might as well. And yeah, there's a USB there as well. That's incorporated. You see, I kind of glued it in there. Oh, and there you go. The only downside for this is, first of all, I don't know about this, but it works. It gives all the current that's required, gives everything that's needed, but looks sketchy. So if you're good, if you have the right tools, proper way of doing this would probably making some sort of a grounding bar and then separately grounding all those wires to it. But I don't really have too many tools, so I just use whatever I have. The other downside of this is, as you can see now, now the center console is connected directly with all the wiring to the car, so I can't really disconnect it and take it off. I don't have the harness. Ideally, it's best to use the harness, because that way you can just disconnect and take the center console off at any time. In my case, if I ever want to take it off again, I'm gonna have to cut the wires and then resolder them in the future. So there you go. That's how I've done it. I'm sure there are better ways, but this is a way. If you come up with something better, then great. And I hope this video was helpful.